Good Thursday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. Looks like we've got about a minute early on the program this morning. My name is Colin Worthington. Thanks for joining us. And I am joined at the big table here by Carrollton Mayor Betty Cason and Carrollton City Manager David Brooks. Good morning to both of you, and thanks for coming out. Thanks for braving the wet weather out there and coming out just to update us on what's going on in Carrollton. Let me start off with this. A lot of the talking heads we hear on the syndicated programming talking about how the economy's bad, and obviously we see some inflation. But do we see that affecting the city at all? Are there signs that you guys see when you prepare for the economy changes?
We look at the sales tax collection as one of the big indicators, and right now our SPLOST and our lost funding is still up and doing well each month. So we haven't been hit hard at all by recession type tendencies. Right now we're still going strong.
And you guys, I'm sure in the budget this year you prepared for inflation. Have those numbers been able to stay steady from what you predicted, I guess, as far as cost for equipment and?
Yeah, we budget conservatively. We try to over budget for inflation, especially last year with gasoline and supplies and chemicals for the water treatment plant and things of that nature. So we budgeted high for that and then lower on revenue so that we would have some room there should it get even worse than we expected. And we did the same this year.
Any chance you guys will give us some money back like the state of Georgia did?
No, we're not doing that well, I don't think.
I just want to say that David and our department heads, and they do an awesome job of, preparing for those kind of things and looking at, what the cost is and staying within the budget. David does a great job of monitoring that. And also our department heads are very conscious about what they spend. And we laugh, Tony Richardson, who's our wastewater person, we laugh and kid him about being MacGyver because he could take a piece of haywire and make everything better. And he just to give an example, and I mentioned this Tuesday at the chamber, this is how conscientious our employees are. Tony took 2 trucks and made one. He does these kind of things all the time. And Mike Green, they all work so well together in planning. I know Noonan Road this time last year was a nightmare, but what they did is they went in and did repairs and upgrades to the water and sewer lines, and then after that was done, they come back and paved it. And they're very conscious of those kind of things in planning. And the same on Dixie Street. The hospital did a lot. We've done some things, and now that's on our list to be paved. Those are just the kind of things that our employees do. And I just can't say enough about our staff and our city manager and our department heads. They just do a great job. And we stay within our budget, and we have some things that happen along the way that nobody can prepare for, but thank goodness we're financially sound and have those funds available that when it hits, we do have that rainy day fund.
And giving kudos, David, I've heard, what's it, a year and a half, Dave's been doing this. I've heard nothing but good stuff. I hadn't heard a single bad thing about David yet, and he had some big shoes to fill.
Yes, he did. He did, but he has stepped right in and not missed a beat.
I appreciate you saying that. There's
and I try not to say too much on there because if you mess up next month, somebody will say, "Well, Colin said Dave's doing a good job," and then I got to answer for it.
Well, it's according to who you talk to a lot of times, but it's been good. It's been a good transition, and having the support of the mayor and council. We got a great elected body right now that cares about Carrollton, and then as Mayor Cason has pointed out, we've got great department heads that are truly experts in their field that keep the city running. They're truly the leadership of the city, so we're very fortunate.
You mentioned elected bodies, so might as well talk about the elections that are coming up this year. Mayor is on the ballot, and
yes.
two other seats, right? 2
council, Bob Uglum and Jim Waters,
okay,
and myself.
And those is that election is in the summer?
No, the election's in November.
It's in November.
Qualifying's in August.
In August, okay. And you have already said,
Oh, yeah.
probably going to do it again.
Yeah.
Betty Cason and David Brooks, our guests on this morning's Community Voice program, talked about financials. How about housing? I've seen some rezonings pop up for city council meetings over the last several months. Are we still desperate for housing? And which kind of developments are we in need of right now as a city?
We're just like every other city in the nation. There is a housing shortage. We have had a lot of growth in the last year with Cedar Walk. We have two new subdivision type things on Cedar Street, so I always get them confused. One of them single family housing and the other is townhouses. And recently we did approve for what is the white ones?
You talking about the other one on Cedar Street?
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the developer, but it'll be single family detached homes as well as duplexes.
Yeah, it's up on the post office. Right?
Yes, Thurman Road and Thomas Newell Drive and Cedar Street, I think, are the three streets that'll be the boundaries, and it'll be a rental community. It'll be one developer, management company that would be, if it all comes to fruition, it'd be a management company that would run it, and it would all be for rent. So that'll be the first one of those that we've approved.
We're seeing a trend for those too, right around.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have brought in lots of people that are the experts in the field, and the trend is changing. I mean, it used to be that everybody wanted to be a homeowner, and I think because people are so transitional now, they can move, they can, do things, they really don't want to be tied down to a house when the economy changes and the selling changes that they may not can sell. So it's more economical for them to rent for a while until they see where they're going to live. And that seems to be the trend throughout the Southeast right now.
So the trend is, as far as the buyer, it's not the developers looking to make, because, potentially it looks like they could make more money on those than selling a house or putting houses there.
Yeah.
So,
I think
the need is what's
driving this. And we've had several people come in and talk to us about the changing trends, and they have the numbers to back it up. And Councilman Ledbetter, being in the construction business, he's pointed out to us that people are moving to the Southeast because of the cost of housing and the availability of housing. And it's much more economical to live here than it is in a lot of other parts of the United States.
I had a guy on the show earlier this week. He's from Baltimore, and he was talking about how he mentioned 2 or 3 times about the housing down here, how affordable it is. But he's from Baltimore, so that's probably a big difference. There's some housing developments out there behind Aldi's, and I know that came up in a recent meeting. I don't remember if you guys approved that or not.
It's gone before the Planning Commission. Mm-hmm. It's actually apartments. But
That's
there
right.
again, I was talking to someone in the financial industry this past week, and he said, we used to think people who lived, and I don't mean this to sound derogatory, people that lived in apartments were people that could not afford a house or didn't have the financial means to buy a house. He says, but that's not the case anymore. He said, you have your Generation X and you have your baby boomers, and they don't want the 3,000 square foot house in the acre yard to have to keep up. They want to work, live, and play, and they want to lock the door and go out and do things that they enjoy doing. And I think that's the case. And empty nesters, people are I made this point this week. People are traveling more now than they ever did at retirement age or 55 and older. I think people have acquired, more assets, and they can do those things. Mm-hmm. So, they don't want the responsibility of having to, if they want to go on a 2-week trip or they want to go rent a condo at the beach for a month. They don't want to have to worry about getting somebody to, cut their grass or check on their house or whatever. And in those apartments, where the apartments that are coming before us Monday night, we have one owner. These are not individually owned apartments. This is one owner. So we can hold that person accountable if something is not going right. Whereas if you have, the single family, or you have neighborhoods, if they're not keeping up their grass or keeping up their house, we don't really we do send out letters to people that they need to, cut their grass or these kind of things. But we really don't have any control over that. But in an apartment complex, we do have control.
For the planning and zoning meeting, it's all coming back to me now. There's about a dozen people who lived in that area who weren't happy about it, that the homeowners in that area who spoke out against it. And I guess that same kind of image that you started that comment with.
Right. And I met with one of the HOA presidents this week, and I explained to her that, that very simple thing, that these are not individually owned apartments. These are owned by a company. And that company is responsible for all the maintenance and the upkeep. And the analogy I used was like, if you owned a condo in Florida, you have a property management who takes care of all the
clean
facade.
Your pool too.
Yeah, everything. And they provide all the amenities, and you pay for that, and you don't have to worry about it. So it's kind of the same scenario. I think you're not having to worry about, getting somebody to, check your house or get your mail, or, I guess you still have to get somebody to get your mail, but you don't have to worry about painting. You don't have to worry about a new roof. So, there are perks to it. And a lot of these, and David and I have talked about this a lot, they provide so many amenities, like a dog park, a dog washing station, a clubhouse, a pool. And you don't have those upkeeps.
And it's probably not going to be cheap.
No.
The ones that they're proposing would be market rate. So that it's they'll be high end type apartments. It would be a nice complex.
But they all going to go in that one entrance between Aldi's and Popeyes, right? And I think you guys did a study maybe in the last year. I could have dreamt this. I don't know. You did a study on the need for lights there, but then GDOT said, no, we don't need them. But if you put some more houses there, it's, on occasion I might go to Popeyes, and just getting out of there is kind of
right.
Yeah,
we did do a traffic study down there at Brock Street, and the study did show that we did not need a traffic signal down there. But you're right, you add that many more cars, it's possible that then we could get some assistance in putting a traffic light down there. It might show a need. Obviously, you don't want to approve a development based on that. You want to approve the development on the merit. But that would help the traffic down there if we could get a traffic light down there.
Yes, I think you can cross over to go north, but it's easier just to go south at this point. Time right now is 8:42. We'll take our first break and come back and continue our conversation with Carroll Mayor Betty Cason and City Manager David Brooks. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
As a believer in the power of education, we are called to set the standard by shaping and empowering the minds of future generations through quality education. Oak Mountain Academy embraces this philosophy, which is why my children attend this prestigious school. I am elated to serve on the OMA Board of Trustees, where together we prepare students and remind them to trust and believe in the power to transform the world. I'm Dr. Brian Bain, inviting you to celebrate our 60-year legacy of academic excellence. Visit us at oakmountain.us.
That price up. 8:44. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. We're also streaming live on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. I don't remember if I mentioned that or not, so if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post those, and I will take a look at those and share them with our guests, who are Mayor Betty Cason, City Manager David Brooks with the City of Carrollton. Is the lawsuit? There's a lawsuit, and I don't know. Can you guys talk anything about that? Okay, well, nod your head or say no if I'm wrong. There was a developer just north of the city, and they're building. It's like 250 houses or something, right?
260 houses proposed rental subdivision.
It's another one of the rentals.
We are. It's not finalized. Our mayor and council did vote on a settlement agreement with Q Hayward, which is the developer, but nothing's finalized. So at this point, that's about all I would really be able to say. Just basically what was approved at the council meeting. And
okay, well, I'll say this, and you can smack me if I'm wrong at all. Initially, they developed and they suggested they talked with a city official about being able to access Carrollton's water, and then a little bit later, the city official said, "Hey, no, I don't think you guys can do that. We're gonna, we'd save our water for bigger businesses, something that would benefit the entire county more so, since you're out of our city limits." And they had an issue with that, but in the end, I feel like it looks like you guys did okay by the agreement, and hopefully that will be official, I think, at the end of this month. So it doesn't look like the city of Carrollton was hurt by this lawsuit to me.
It was actually sewer, not water.
Sewer, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. But speaking of water, Carroll County is encouraging residents. Carroll County Water Authority is encouraging residents to use less water here for the next week or so, if that long. But they said they are accessing water from other municipalities. Have they come to you guys for water?
Yes, sir. We're helping them out right now. I talked with Tony Richardson yesterday, and just to make sure, and we are. They've had an issue. It's nothing, to my understanding, it's nothing to do with contamination or anything like that. I think it's an issue where part of their plant is down right now, and so they're running on about half capacity and that's just that's hearsay. So I don't want to say too much about it, but we are helping them, and I know it's not a contamination type thing.
Yeah, so. It didn't sound like it was going to be, but helping them, that's not hurting you guys at all.
No, we obviously we're going to take care of our folks and make sure the citizens of Carrollton have water and plenty of it as best we can. But we also, want to be good neighbors too and help them out in a bind.
Is Carrollton City having conversations about, or has anybody even asked about chargers for electric cars in the city?
Oh, yes.
Are we getting to that point where they could be necessary?
Yes, we are, and we've talked about with our Maple Street corridor project adding some, and then I think we're going to have to look at even other places to be able to add some chargers, because a lot of people are driving electric cars.
Mm-hmm. I think the parking decks downtown would probably be a first shot at them. We've talked with Georgia Power. I'm going to try to have some conversations with Carroll EMC and just see what route we can go and maybe getting some assistance or some grants but getting a few. And I think the parking decks would be the most logical place to put the initial chargers in.
Could that not be a business for somebody? Is it going to be more the governments who do that, or could you see somebody setting up a business with 20 of them and charging $10 an hour or something?
I saw one in Atlanta where it was a business, but it was for their employees, so it was kind of a perk, But it was for, and I forget the company. It was over off Windy Hill. But it seemed to be like a perk for their employees. But I guess some businesses could do it as a revenue generator. I'm not sure, but I do know that right now mostly it's governments, municipalities, cities.
And Carroll EMC has one, right?
I think they have a couple. Yeah,
yeah, they do.
Staying on electronic, the e-bike. Well, I guess those aren't the electronic bikes. The bike system we had for the Greenbelt for a little bit, and they kind of petered out during COVID. Any chance we see anything like that return?
We would like to, but it's gotten the sponsorships for them has gotten so expensive. It's like $10,000 a rack, or maybe not quite that much. It's quite a bit.
I think it was. I think it was 15 actually.
Yeah. And so to have 5 to 10 different stations, so they're abundant out there, but it's quite expensive. We started looking down that avenue coming out of COVID. The appetite for the sponsorships was not as great as it was pre-COVID, but it's something that we need to look into. It's a nice amenity to offer. Yeah.
How about scooters? E-scooters. You guys ever think about those?
No.
I saw them in Memphis, and I guess they were in Atlanta too for a little bit. But in Memphis, yeah, I mean they're just like laying all over the city where people they just peter out and
they just leave them there.
They just
I don't know that we're ready to travel down that road yet.
The on the table discussions that the Community Foundation of West Georgia puts together, that was about 2 months ago. Did you guys attend those, and was there anything that was brought to your attention that maybe you weren't aware of this time around?
Well, I actually hosted one. I do this. I did it last year, and I did it again this year. And it's really ironic because we just had a town hall meeting about our downtown development, and our downtown development was that meeting. And so I hosted a group of 8th graders from Carrollton High School. Carrollton Junior High. And it was so ironic. Everything just about that was said at our town hall meeting at the Cultural Arts Center with a group of adults was said again with a group of 8th graders. And, I mean, it's still basically our needs, and we're aware of them, like more restaurants, more family activities. I mean, we are really blessed with the Greenbelt and with our recreation program, with all the activities that they do. But there's still, like on a rainy day like today, where do you take your kids? What do you do? And I think that's one thing, and that's, what we keep looking at is how we can partner with a private company or a private business or a private partnership, to get those kind of amenities. Because I know people have to travel, if it's a church group or youth group or whatever. I mean, if they want to go bowling, they have to go to either Noonan or Douglasville. If they want to go, do any of those kind of things with kids, we can't offer those right now. And that was one of the things. We also have a youth council, and they're made up of 9th through 12th graders. And David and myself and 3 of the council members met with them a couple of weeks ago, and pretty much the same thing was said again. And I think everybody recognizes what the problem is, or what the opportunity is, not the problem. But, just getting an investor to do that is the issue.
Are those 9th through 12th graders coming in with a good knowledge of civics?
They are. They have really. I actually talked to one of the parents, and he was so appreciative of the fact that we have that youth council. He said that his child had learned so much about city government and how the city operates, and he said it's just such an opportunity, for the children. And I want to compliment David. When I first came into office, we talked about having a youth council, and then COVID, and I talked to Dr. Albertus, and he was on board, and then COVID hit, and we kind of put that on the back burner. And then when David came in as assistant city manager, I mean, his wealth of knowledge of the children and the high school, that program got started. And Sergeant Browning with our police department, she is the sponsor from the city, and she just does an awesome job with those kids.
Time right now is 8:52. We'll take our final break and come back with about 6-7 minutes on this morning's Community Voice program. Again, during the break, if you have a question or comment, please post it up there on the News Talk 1330 Facebook page, and I'll share it with our guests. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
I'm Michael Flynn, Oak Mountain Academy class of 1978.
Katie Flynn, class of 2010.
Justin Flynn, class of 2014.
Logan Flynn, class of 2019.
And I'm Marnie Flynn, current teacher at OMA.
My uncle Richard Owen Flynn, a founding father of Oak Mountain Academy, had a vision to see students become confident leaders who hold a faith-based value system in an academically rigorous environment. We are proud to celebrate 60 years of fulfilling my uncle's vision.
Our family invites you to visit the campus or oakmountain.us today.
8:54. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. I'm Colin Worthington. Our guests this morning, Mayor Betty Cason, City Manager David Brooks with the City of Carrollton. Got about 5-6 minutes left. It's going to kind of try and fire some things off to you and let us promote some events that are coming up. I believe that the agenda is not out for Monday's meeting. Are you guys meeting Monday? It's the first day.
We are.
Okay.
We are.
But I believe you guys are going to be talking about creating ordinances for farm wineries and distilleries. How did that come about, the interest with that?
Well, we have someone who's interested in opening one here. And actually, this started by an employee going to visit another one. And this is honey-based.
Yeah, it's a meadery. It'll be
yeah.
wine made from mead.
Oh, from meat. Okay, that's a meatery. I was like, I'd never heard that before. It didn't sound good, though.
Yeah.
Wine made from meat.
Yeah. So she went to visit, and then she told him she was from Carrollton, and they just started a conversation, and the next thing we know, they have an interest in, it's my understanding, they found a location, and so we just had to kind of, we had to adjust our ordinance, and so we're excited. And the thing about this, it all has to be Georgia produced.
Well, I think it's like 40% or something like that.
Yeah,
right? Is that
I think a large amount of it,
Yeah.
and so we're excited about it.
all right. We how about events coming up? We've got Mayfest. Is that next weekend?
Next weekend.
May 6th.
And
Is that right?
for those who don't know, what is Mayfest?
Oh, it is a great event for the city of Carrollton. It brings in lots and lots of people. We have vendors. We close off the square, and April and her staff do a great job of having a variety of vendors and not just the same thing, not 10.
Not everybody's selling jewelry.
Right, yeah. So we have a great variety, and we have food trucks coming in, and our downtown merchants participate. We have, it's great. It's just a great
Fun
event.
time for everybody.
Yeah.
An official beginning of summer.
Absolutely.
That kicks off our concert series that we have. We got some good concerts coming in. We got some local guys playing. We're doing 5 or 6 of those. Just a lot going on this summer. And it kind of caps off Leadership Georgia. We'll be visiting Carrollton in September. And so that's a pretty big deal.
Are you going to prep us before then so everybody's on their best behavior and dresses nice for that week? And,
Absolutely.
And it's nice to people they don't know. And
absolutely.
You have to give us heads up. The Lake Carroll, that was down for a bit, I guess, over the last few months, and we still had people interested. Hey, what's going on? Why are they draining that? But you guys are doing some improvements on the other side of the lake. I mean, I guess not from Bankhead, but closer
Lakeshore
to
Park. Yes, we're finishing up phase 2 of Lakeshore Park with some boardwalks, a small amphitheater, so a couple more small pavilions, widening the boat ramp, be boardwalks out over the lake. It's going to be really, really nice. We were hoping to have water levels back up by the 1st of May, but we've had so much rain, and every time it rains, the lake is shallow anyway. And when it rains, it fills back up. Not completely full, but it does get to a point to where we have to siphon more water out, but hopefully by summer, by June, we can be close to and being able to get the water levels back up and be close to completion. But I would imagine the construction will carry on through the summer, but hopefully we'll get the majority of it done and the water back up.
And we got a minute left in the show, so let me wrap up. You say construction, and I'd reached out to you last week about this. Somebody had told me they saw they told me that GDOT was going to close I-27 where they're currently doing the construction on that bridge. They said that was going to close for a month and a half, so that was like, holy smokes. I called you looking for, all right, well, how are you going to detour them? You check that out, and that is BS.
Yep, that is yes, that's a perfect way to put it. That is not correct. It is not closing.
And it apparently was a sign. So people may have seen that sign and just didn't notice, but apparently it's not going to happen. So please get that out of your head. Of course, we say that, and then they're going to end up doing
Then they'll close it next week.
anyway,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, all right, guys. Mayor Betty Cason, City Manager David Brooks from Carrollton, thanks for coming out this morning.
Thanks for having us on.
And thank you for watching and listening to this morning's Community Voice program. Tomorrow, my guest is one of your little friends,
Jody Goodman.
Jody Goodman. Will be on our program tomorrow morning at 8:30 here on the Community Voice. Have a great Thursday.